Glenavon under-16s have just lost 3-2 to Glentoran under-16s here at Mornview Park. Johnny Pollock has joined me and has agreed to speak to us. Johnny, what are your reflections on the game?
I thought overall it was a pretty scrappy game. It was hard to get a foothold in the game because obviously the pitch wasn't the best, it was very bobbly, but the boys worked hard, they got their noses in front. In the first half, got 2 good goals. Came out the second half, the message was don't be conceding early. 2 goals is a false lead, as you know, so unfortunately they got the first goal, their tails were up, and then sort of put us under a bit of pressure, followed by shortly after they got the second goal, so it was pretty much then scrappy after that. There's no real football played, it was just a bit of a battle. And then in the last minute, I think it was, there was a penalty when Alfie was adjudged to have handled the ball from, I suppose, 2 yards away, so I don't know, haven't seen it back yet, but the referees gave the penalty for it. So, it's all part of football, I suppose. So,
were you disappointed with the referee's decision?
Well, Alfie said, he turned his back and he wasn't even looking at. He said his hand was up in the air, but Alfie says his hand was down by his side. But I think sort of just leading up to it, I think we might have been fouling the goalkeeper. So I sort of felt we should have had maybe a foul before the penalty was called, but the referee's decision, so we'll not complain too much.
Were you assisting the under-16s coach tonight?
Yeah, so the way I would, Saturdays, I would help out with the under-16s. It's my young fella, he plays there, so Paul, he's the manager, so Saturday mornings I would go with the team wherever they are, and then probably most of the time leaving a wee bit early to go and meet up with the first team there, do my bit with the first team.
So tell us about your role in the academy and with the first team.
So basically I look after all of the goalkeepers in the academy, so the way we work at the academy is structured on Monday night. I'll take all of the goalkeepers on a Monday night, so split over 2 sessions on a Monday night, so we'll have from the 2014 straight to the 2008, so we get them all in, work with them on the Monday night. Then on the Wednesday night they go with their team, so they'll work with their team in preparation for their games on a Saturday. And also then on a Tuesday and Thursday, then I'm up with working with Reggie along with Mark, Tag and Deansy. So
how long have you been involved with Glenavon and with the academy?
When I finished playing about 2012, 2013, I came in. Alex Denver, I think at the time, was looking after the academy. It wasn't as big as it is now. We didn't have as many teams, so we didn't have as many goalkeepers. So I suppose from then started doing my badges, and I've been here ever since.
So what qualifications do you have?
So I have my UK or the UEFA goalkeeping B licence. So I'm currently on my outfield B licence to work towards my goalkeeper A licence. So goalkeepers get the raw deal, where we have to also have the outfield coaching badges before we can progress on to the goalkeeping one. So I'm currently doing my outfield UEFA B licence. Once I have that, then I'll be going forward from my UEFA A licence, goalkeeping licence.
And is that goalkeeping A licence the highest qualification you can have in goalkeeping coaching?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So at the minute, the IFA, the highest level that the IFA have is the UEFA goal. It's only been introduced maybe the last 2-3 years. The highest one before that was our B licence, so we were all the first ones to be put through our B licence because of the UEFA regulations. So we all managed to get on that, myself and Reggie, plus most of all the other Irish League goalkeeping coaches. So now we're working towards our A licence.
Can you tell us a bit about the demands of the course you're completing at the moment?
Yeah, well, it's really only started. The outfield one has only started, so we've done a few online courses, Zoom calls, and then we have a week long where we do all the practicals, and then we have all our assignments to hand in and have all completed by a certain time. So I think of 2 years to complete it, but I would like to have it done before that to allow me to progress to the A licence.
And what are the demands of the A licence course?
I think it's pretty much the same. The B licence for the goalkeeping one was very demanding. There's quite a lot of assignments to do and long hours. Doing your coursework, it was based on match analysis and things like that. So I think it's pretty much the same sort of structure. It's not something I look forward to.
So what differentiates the B licence from the A licence?
To be honest, I don't know the full content of the A licence, the goalkeeping one. Now, some of the guys I've been speaking to said actually the B licence was probably tougher than what their A licence was. So at the minute, I don't really know what the A licence is at the minute. So
I read recently that UEFA have increased the qualifications required for goalkeeping coaches for clubs participating in competitions. Is that true?
yeah, so in order for the clubs to be granted a European licence, the goalkeepers must have these certain qualifications, and I think now that is the standard that the goalkeepers must have their A licence. So that's why we are working towards our A licence, so the club can get their European licence.
So you said that you coach the academy goalkeepers on a Monday night. What would a typical session be like?
So mostly for the younger age groups, we just basically work on the basics, the handling and footwork, all the basic stuff, all the technical stuff. It's a lot of the sessions are repetitive, maybe changed a wee bit just so it's not boring. But it's all the technical stuff. So when they then get to a certain age, we start then looking at the technical side of the game. But mainly that young age group are focusing solely on the technical side. So when they get to that age, it'll all come natural to them, and then it's working on the tactical side of the game along with their teams, working out with their defenders, playing out from the back and positional sense. So it's very repetitive, if you like. So
when you're assessing a young goalkeeper with potential, what are you looking for?
Well, you can look at a goalkeeper in training. Training doesn't really give you a good picture of how a goalkeeper, standard of goalkeeping, because making saves is the easy part of goalkeeping. It's all the things that you don't really see. You know, a goalkeeper can go through a game and not have a save to make, but still be very, very good because he's done a lot of organising. He's done a lot of working with his back four, so he's prevented the shots. So it's looking at how he performs in the games, how confident he is in the game, the ball at his feet. Obviously, goalkeeping now from 10, 15 years ago has changed so much, where a lot of goalkeepers, maybe 70% of the ball's at their feet. So it's working with the ball at their feet as well, and they're playing out from the back and having the confidence to play out from the back and be brave. And obviously they will make errors, but it's how they recover from those errors.
So a goalkeeper who can save shots well but struggles with the ball at his feet might not make the grade?
Yeah, potentially. Obviously now English teams in England now, they're the profile goalkeepers of Josh Gracie, for example. Josh Gracie's perfect example of a goalkeeper, 6'5". Josh was very good technically as well, so he ticked all the boxes there. But you could have a goalkeeper who really good with the ball, is what you think is a perfect goalkeeper, but he just doesn't have that profile of a 6'4" that English clubs are looking for. But that's not to say they'll not go on and have a great career in the Irish League, for example. But the profile of a goalkeeper now is 6 foot plus.
So if you're not 6'1" or 6'2", a career path to a club in England is effectively barred?
Well, I wouldn't say barred, but I mean, it's probably the first thing, if scouts are looking for goalkeepers, the first thing they're looking at is their height, because I suppose that their technical ability, they'll take them over there, they can work with their technical ability, but they can't work on their height, you know what I mean? So it's the main thing for a goalkeeper is their physique, but obviously you need to have a bit of talent as well. But again, that can all be coached, and decision making in games too, so things like that, it all matters too.
When you say decision making, what exactly do you mean?
Say, for example, through balls, when to come for balls, when to leave it for the defenders, communication, distances between your back four, things like that there. So a lot of that goes on in games where maybe goalkeepers make rash decisions. But again, in young goalkeepers too, that transition from 7-a-side, 9-a-side to full size, it really shows up their goalkeepers where their starting position. Moving into that full-size games, a lot of young goalkeepers will be staying on their line, and even big gaps between them and the defenders. So it's working with young goalkeepers too, and trying to get them to be brave. And they will make bad decisions, but it's not a bad decision if they're learning from those.
You mentioned Josh Gracie. How talented is Josh?
Josh has the potential to go all the way if he keeps working as he has been. I've been watching some of the clips of his games in England. He's been doing really, really well. I think he's playing 21s at the minute for Wolves. He's been involved in the first team training sessions too, so they rate him very highly over there. I remember Josh when he came in, his attitude was first class. He always asked questions. He always wanted that extra rep, and he got frustrated if he was making a mistake. But he was one of the ones obviously with the height as well. Whenever he just took a growth spurt, and you could just see there was definitely something there. Brought him up and trained with the first team quite a few times and didn't look out of place. So Josh was definitely one of the ones that really had the potential.
And how has he settled in at Wolves?
Oh, he's settled in well. He loves it. He's just passed his driving test there recently too. So he's loving it. I think he said he's playing 21s there, and as I say, he's been involved in the first team training sessions too. So yeah, he loves it. He says he's living the dream.
So then tell us, Johnny, about your role with Reggie with the Glenavon first team.
So when Gary was here, Reggie was unavailable, and I think it was an Irish Cup game, and Gary asked me if I'd come up and take a couple of sessions when Reggie was away, and then do the warm-up on the Saturday, which no problem. I came up and done that, and then he asked if I would like to come in and help Reggie, and I said yes, no problem. So Reggie is a fantastic coach and a gentleman, and we have a really, really good relationship, and we work well together. And we actually done all the courses together. So I've learned so much from Reggie. Reggie's learning from me. So I think it's a perfect match at the minute.
So tell us what the first team goalkeepers do on a typical training night.
So typically we would have the goalkeepers maybe for 35-40 minutes, depending on Marty's session. So probably on a Tuesday night it'll just be, we'll do a wee bit of strenuous stuff, and then on a Thursday night, depending on who we're playing and what sort of team we're playing against, we'll sort of cater our session towards Saturday's game and who we're playing against, how they would set up. If it's going to be a team that's going to put a lot of balls in the box, and we'll work on the physical side of things where they're coming for crosses under pressure. And again, it's just basically Thursday night is working on sort of match-related things that we'd be expecting to face on a Saturday. They would provide us with an analysis of who we're playing, how they'd set up for free kicks, for example, set pieces. So we take all that into account, and then we'll plan a session based on that.
And is fitness an issue for goalkeepers? Are goalkeepers expected to be as fit as outfield players?
Fitness is a completely different type of fitness. Goalkeepers, our fitness, we would do a lot of reps where they're up and down. It's not like stamina based, it's more sharpness and maybe over 10-15 yards. People see goalkeeping training and see goalkeepers diving about, but unless you've actually done it yourself, you'll see how tough goalkeeping training and how strenuous some of the sessions can be.
The game seems to have moved on a lot from the 1990s when goalkeepers simply went and trained together with no coaching at all.
Yeah. When I was growing up, there was no goalkeeping coaching. The only goalkeeping coaching I would have had was when I was away with the national at underage level, but we would never had goalkeeping training. It was just the goalkeepers went in the nets, the sub would be taking shots at them before the game for a warm-up, and that's it. And obviously when the boys are taking shots, they're not warming the goalkeeper up, they're trying to put it in the top corner. So yeah, not like it is now.
Do you think the standard of goalkeeping in the local game has improved over the last 20 years?
The standard is higher. Obviously, most clubs now have designated goalkeeping coaches where the goalkeepers are getting specific training. So yeah, it's definitely improved.
So Glenavon currently has 3 goalkeepers on its books. Have you enjoyed working with the 3 lads?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Obviously Deansy, Mark and Tag, 3 fantastic lads, and their attitude and their work rate is right up there, top notch. Never a complaint. Never a complaint from either of them. They all work hard in training, and they're all pushing each other. And the 3 boys work really, really well together. So it's a pleasure working with them.
In the last month or so, the manager has rotated Mark Byrne and Tag Ryan. How difficult is it for a goalkeeper to play one game, miss a match, and then be asked to play again?
Yeah, it is difficult. But as we always say to them, you we prepare all goalkeepers the same, so they're all ready to step in if and when needed. So personally, I'm sure they're all disappointed that they're not playing, but as I say, goalkeeper's only one position, so the three boys work, as I said, so work so well together and encourage each other, and there's no ill feeling towards anybody if they're not playing. They're all encouraging each other, so it's a great group to be involved with. So no, it's just the life of a goalkeeper, I suppose. There's only one position and three fellas fighting for it.
And how different is training when you're working with lads in their teens as compared to experienced, mature goalkeepers?
Well, working with lads, obviously, when you're serving to the younger boys, you're not putting the same sort of pace on it with the older boys. I suppose that's really the only difference. But your sessions could be pretty much the same. You could work the same sessions with the younger ones. It's just maybe reducing the reps and obviously the pace of the ball too, just depending on the age group. But you're more or less doing the same sort of thing. You're doing the footwork and handling, and then obviously the tactical side of the game's slightly different because obviously we have the analysis from D to analyse who we're playing against. It's different to the academy, so we're just sort of preparing them as best we can just for each game.
And you work with young boys from the academy and with the first team goalkeepers. Do you have a preference?
No, I don't. I actually enjoy the young working. I love to watch the young boys progress through the years there. I've been involved with some of the goalkeepers for about 5, 6, 7 years maybe, and just watching them all progress and filling out and getting bigger. So no, I've no real preference. I love working with the young ones and watching them progress, but also love working with the senior goalkeepers too.
And what is your assessment of the standard of the goalkeepers in the Glenavon Academy at the moment?
Oh, I think we're all really good. We're all covered now. I suppose at our academy, I've always insisted that we only have one goalkeeper at each age group because for me it's important for young goalkeepers to play full games. I don't like goalkeepers playing a half here and a half there. So it's part of their development, and to be fair, the academy agrees with that too. So they're all getting plenty of game time, and that's how they learn and progress. So that's a big part of learning is getting the game times in.
And why is it important that they play full 90 minutes?
For example, you could be playing a game and weather conditions, for example, you're playing with the wind the first half, you play that game and you have nothing to do, whereas the other goalkeeper gets peppered, and then the same scenario with the next week. So I believe you should be playing full games. So
the final question, Johnny, how do you have time for a life outside football?
Well, I don't actually. It's pretty much full time here. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm out. As soon as I'm home from work, I'm out, get a bite to eat, out, and then not back till late. So,
Johnny, thanks for all your hard work this season and for telling us a bit more about your role at the club. Have a good summer. Thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you, George. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.